Before this episode starts, just want to let everybody know we had some technical difficulties getting going in this episode. Maybe the first 10 minutes or so, there's a little bit of audio wonkiness. I drop out after about 10 minutes and don't come back because I don't know if it was my internet or my computer or what, but I had on my end, there was some mega issues going on technology-wise. So you'll hear me disappear and then Ray, Steve, and Victor take over from there. Make sure you, if you have a chance, leave a review on either Apple Podcasts or any of your favorite podcatchers. And if you enjoy the show and want to support us on Patreon, $1 a month is awesome. We post a bunch of stuff over there, and helps just pay for the feeds. Anything extra will go to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation during the charity event. So there is that. So thanks again for listening, and here we go. You can support this show at patreon.com/ASAPodcasting. Welcome to a Skyrim Addict podcast, where I will discuss my adventures and misadventures through Skyrim. Join me. Add your stories. Add your tales. Let's get into this thing. Welcome back to the second start of episode 161, Skyrim Addict podcast. I'm Michael. I'm here with Ray.
Good evening.
And Victor.
Good evening, everybody.
And Steve.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
And we have not melted down yet. Computer is intact. Everything is good. And we're starting an episode. So we've learned that I cannot stream and record at the same time with a 9-year-old computer. We've learned that lesson tonight. And
yeah, we just respawned.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh God, I was gaming wise today. I was playing Blair Witch.
Oh, how's that?
It's kind of fun. It's very they recommend you play it with headphones actually, because it has binaural audio, and it's actually if you turn off the lights and play it with headphones, it's reasonably creepy.
Yeah,
So,
fair enough.
Yeah.
Did you try it with VR? You know, because it made people sick in the theater. I want to see what the VR.
Yeah, no VR. I'd probably just throw up in like 5 seconds. So there is that. Because I couldn't even do Skyrim in VR, let alone Blair Witch Game Pass game in VR.
Yeah. Oh, you got Game Pass. Oh, nice.
Yeah. I did the Game Pass Ultimate deal when it came out at was it E3?
Right.
When you could get it for like X number of years for super cheap, for like an extra $1 a month.
Yeah, I screwed that up. Didn't get it.
Yeah, I extended my normal Game Pass and then got the Ultimate for the $1 extra a month for as long as you reasonably could.
Yeah.
So I'm carrying the idiot ball on the show today. What's a Game Pass? What
Oh,
company is that through or whatever?
On Xbox, there's basically like maybe 100 games you can play for free each month. It varies on what they are. Like there's been a lot more newer. Recently, there's been more newer stuff. In the beginning, it was a lot of 360 games and stuff, but that's changed.
Sea of Thieves was like one of the first.
That was the big,
sort of frontline games that they put on Game Pass.
Yep.
Is there some version of that with Windows 10 now? Like
Yes.
I've never followed down the rabbit hole, but like I can hit start and like I have Xbox as one of my options in the menu that pops up.
Yes.
So I can actually just play free Xbox games.
Game Pass Ultimate is both PC and Xbox.
Yeah, they're working really hard to converge the two.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So, because they're of course that's Microsoft's ace in the hole against Sony because they've got the huge base of PCs plus Xbox. So.
Yeah, they got.
Well, now that I know that, they'll probably get me like a few hours of my life, anyways, just seeing what's available. And if I get tired of my Steam library and nothing good's on sale or whatever,
it's a great deal. Yeah,
yeah, it's a good way to just if you're a little bored of something, you just want to throw a game on. You look on there, like, I'll play this for 2 hours, and then I'll delete it if I want or whatever because it was part of the subscription anyway. So
Right.
not a big deal one way or the other.
It's sort of another nail in the coffin of the on the way to too many subscriptions thing.
Agreed.
But like a lot of them, there's no contract, right? So
you can
take
cancel.
a month,
Yeah.
then cancel, take another month, like I do with HBO.
Yeah, that's all. You just kind of do it as you wish. Let's see right now. I'll see what's on there right now. Actually, while we're let's see. The most popular are Minecraft, of course, Forza, Rocket League, Human Fall Flat, Mortal Kombat 10 was pretty fun. Recently added was Blair Witch, of course, Bard's Tale 4. I don't know when that's from. The director's cut. I don't know what year that was. And Kingdom Come. And it tells you which ones are leaving soon, which are mostly some 360 games. It looks like they're leaving soon. But there's some months where I don't play anything, but overall I've played a good bit because I played Hitman on there quite a bit, and let's see.
So Hitman, the first reboot is on there, but not Hitman 2.
I don't know if it's still on there, but it was.
Okay.
At one point,
I haven't subscribed to it at all. So.
Yeah, at one point it was on there. So, I did try it then. I think it was like one of they released in seasons, I believe.
Mm-hmm. That was the first reboot. Yeah.
Yeah, like Ark Survival Evolved is on there. I was playing Fable on there.
Wow.
City Skylines, Elder Scrolls Online. Fallout 4 is on there in case you want to play it.
Not sure I've ever played that game.
And I guess Gears 5 is coming to it when it releases. Okay. Let's see. I was just seeing what else was on there real quick. Life is Strange.
That's a great game.
Yeah, that is. I really enjoyed that. Some things like that. There's some indie games on there. Oblivion is on there. If you've never played Oblivion, it is on Game Pass.
Oh, there you go. That's how they're going to get my money.
That's it right there. There you go.
I've never played it, so there you go.
See, now you can play it for a subscription. Tomb Raider, some things like that. Just some good stuff.
Nice.
Right now, I'm holding out. I'm gonna buy Greedfall. If the reviews are as good as the previews, then Greedfall is the next game for me.
Is that the next? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. It has the potential to be pretty awesome.
And right before we came on, actually, Nintendo actually announced a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I got my Mini on pre-order.
Do you?
Yep. I sent my original Switch to Kate today. So she's getting the big Switch with controller and everything, so she and her buds can play, and I'm getting the Mini. Yeah,
I'm going to trade ours in because I have the Joy-Con drift. I know I could get it fixed for free, but GameStop right now, I think until like mid-September, for $75, if you trade it in, you can get a brand new one with the upgraded battery and all.
Oh, wow.
So it lasts twice as long. So you're getting an upgraded one for $75 and your trade-in. And I'd have to send it to Nintendo.
I'm not sure what's the Joy-Con drift.
Oh, it starts moving forward without touching it.
Oh.
It's there's a major issue with it. Like right now, I was playing while we were traveling. I was playing Minecraft on it in the Skyrim Addict realm, and literally, I would just be running without touching it, which can be quite dangerous when you're gaming, of course.
And this is when they're disconnected from the Switch, or
no, this is it doesn't matter.
Connected.
Either or.
Oh,
it's it's the toggle itself that's an issue, I guess. And I guess it's a known issue because they're repairing it for free.
Wow.
Or
I'll have to tell Kate to watch for that. It never happened to me, but
keep an eye out for it. For me, it started out real light. It happened here and there, and now it's gotten pretty rough.
So all this started with Blair Witch, which puts me in mind of maybe asking Victor and Ray, best horror mod you've come across as our two, mod graybeards here. If you wanted to really spice it up for Skyrim, what do you think in terms of horror?
I don't know. I've never. I don't think I've ever deliberately sought out a horror mod.
Yeah, me neither.
There's a couple of them out there. I would go to. I know at least one or two of the maybe Cinotar did a horror mod review at one time. Did you ever watch his channel?
No, I don't think so. You've recommended it multiple times, and it goes in the bin of things to do later.
Yeah. Oh, that would be one place to look. I haven't. I'm trying to dredge up the name of. There's one specifically horror themed, sort of DLC sized mod that gets really good reviews, but I don't remember.
Are you thinking maybe Enderall? It's a total conversion. I've seen Couch Warrior did sort of the opening. It seemed pretty creepy. I watched Gopher play a little deeper, and it seems less horror when you get farther into it.
Yeah, it's Enderall is okay. I've done a little bit of it, but not a whole lot.
It's sitting on my desktop. I just haven't actually started to, load it yet. We'll see.
There's one that's specifically horror related, and then there's also Undeath. That's the one I'm trying to think of. Yeah, that gets decent reviews. And there's a couple that are sort of Dark Souls themed as well, but Undeath is the one that I was trying to think of.
There you go. I wonder what the Dark Souls conversion. Because I would love to see a dragon fight in a Dark Souls conversion of Skyrim.
It's not really a conversion, but there's.
Well, you know what I mean, like, but just because you're gonna punch up the difficulty and yada yada. Will they be bigger and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first one that popped up for me for SC is called Horror Over Skyrim: Shadow of Oblivion.
Oh.
That one I don't know. Yeah, Undeath
looks like it's it makes Skyrim less like entering a fantasy world and more like stepping into a horror movie.
Oh, nice. Interesting. Well, I know there's one out there. I never loaded it, but there's one out there that like the Draugrs. Like it's more like a zombie apocalypse type movie. Like it becomes really, really much more important to stay in town, and and there's a whole mini game of, I guess, having assets and stuff. But yeah, like Draugr, like waves of Draugr armies will periodically attack major towns. You, of course, as the player, can help out with that. But I
think High Level Enemies does that. It'll put Draugr patrols out in the open world.
That'd be cool. Like if they came out at night, mostly. Yeah. Be all right. I could handle that, actually. I think that'd be really interesting. I would like to see Draugrs and skeletons and stuff outside of just the barrows.
Yeah, outside of it.
Well, there's already skeletons outside, but no Draugr.
That's true. There are no Draugr really.
Yeah, but I mean, like the roving patrols.
Mm-hmm.
The roving bands of Draugr attacked us, got us, and the live stream is dead. The recording was dead, and we were back. You guys didn't even know that, but we're back already. So yeah, horror mods we were talking about, and what I wanted to say was Shari was asking actually about getting rid of vampires with a mod, because I guess on Xbox you can't uninstall the DLC.
Oh, boo. Okay. So every time she fast travels anywhere, she gets pounced on and she just wants to go shop or something.
Yeah. So she just wants to play without having the issue of obviously the vampire attacks in every city every time.
And she's on a console, eh?
Yes, she's doing.
Oh, see, because you could get into if you're on PC, you get into the dev console and add yourself to their faction, so they would view you as a friend. They'd still maybe kill some of the NPCs, but you could just sort of walk by and not get involved.
You wouldn't have to worry.
If part of her issue is that the vampires are killing town NPCs, then I believe Run for Your Lives is available on Xbox. So you can at least get that so that the villagers will run into their houses when the vampires attack. So you won't lose, Alvor and Girder and Adrienne and everybody else.
That might be a big part of it because that can really mess with your playthrough, especially depending on what you're role playing and stuff.
Yeah.
Then again, though, I gotta say, like the flip side of that is, and I won't flog this horse because I've told this story before, but the flip side of that is that it's a real role playing opportunity when an important NPC gets killed. Like the gamer in you is like, shit, now I can't sell my junk if it's a merchant or whatever. But like, there's some real opportunity there, right? Like, what happens if, the husband and wife pair dies, or the reverse, you know what I mean? And I don't know. I mean, just the dialogue's not going to change enough for it to be meaningful, but like in your head canon or whatever,
Yeah,
there's some really interesting. Like, I mean, what are the consequences of Michael's Dark Brotherhood character, his audio let's play through, right? Effectively like wiping out Riverrun through a couple of different events that were triggered, right? I mean, well, come on. I mean, like half the people in that town are dead now.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
In a number of ways, so what kind of reputation do you have when you go there now? Do they see you as a villain who brought this on them, or a savior who prevented some of the people that could have died from dying, and so on and so forth? So, I'm with Shelley. I think I often tend to find the vampire attacks annoying if I'm not doing a playthrough kind of themed that way.
Yeah.
But again, there's some opportunity there, I think, to craft a story you maybe hadn't anticipated prior.
For sure. Yeah, I guess it depends on how you're playing. Like with the dragons, it's easy. You just don't start that, and they don't start. But the Dawnguard just starts. You don't have that choice.
Because you get ambushed by Durak or whatever at a certain point. There's no getting away from him.
There's and then the vampire attacks just start. But I wonder if there's a way. I wonder if you just don't ever come in contact with him. If there's a mod that just eliminates contacting him, that would do it. If that's the trigger.
Personally, I very rarely ever fast travel, so I don't run.
That's a big part of it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
and I find that a strange sort of like penalty that they've built into the game. Like somebody thought about that, right? Like there were subtle little things with Dawnguard. The introduction of crossbows, the ability to craft enhanced bolts and stuff like that. You can make arrows on your own now as a result of Dawnguard. A lot of people didn't sort of pick up on that. So there were a bunch of subtle little under the hood things. But then one of them was this fast travel equals vampires at whatever percentage chance, right?
Yeah.
And that sort of like, how do I put that? Like that seems like, well, I mean, a punishment was the word that I used, which is perhaps imprecise, but yeah, it seems like that's their way of saying like, no, they want to push you out. They want you to walk. They want you to experience the world a little bit more. And like, is that Bethesda's choice to make, right?
I don't know. It only happens when you arrive at night, right? So you can time your fast traveling as well.
I suppose that's true. Yeah.
Are they only at night?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I think
if you land at Whiterun at 3 p.m, there's no vampires. You have to.
Okay.
But of course, it calculates all the travel time. So if you travel, say, from Solitude to Whiterun, even if it's the morning when you start, it's going to be night by the time you get there, right? So
yeah.
But I guess if you use the carriages, you shouldn't have that issue because they're just outside the city.
Right.
That's interesting. I'd have to think about that, eh?
You don't get them when you travel by carriage.
There you go.
But I'd have to take a look because I have not. I was just thinking about this the other day. Some combination of mods that I'm running is stopping the vampires altogether. I haven't had a vampire attack in probably a year.
Oh wow!
So I do use Better Vampires and Run for Your Lives.
And I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan of Run for Your Lives. I want some blockers.
Well, you still have the guards. So the guards still engage.
Yeah.
And that's for dragons too, is that when the dragons attack, the people go inside.
Yeah.
I'd like a drop-down list of NPCs that do and do not run. I'm sure we all have a selection of a few we'd like to see run towards danger.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
So it was it was a little bit frustrating because the current character that I'm playing is a vigilant as Stendar, and so I wanted to have interactions with vampires. I should probably try starting the Dawnguard and see if that kicks him off.
Yeah. That'd be a good test too, to figure out whether it's mods doing that or, as you say, just a story related.
I wonder if because I don't have many vampire attacks either. It's, notwithstanding the fact that I rarely ever fast travel. I wonder if we're using something similar mod wise that's doing that. But I don't use any I don't use any vampire mods. For a while I was loading Sacrosanct in there, but since I don't really enjoy playing as a vampire, I leave them out. So
I don't think I've ever played an honest playthrough as a vampire. You know, like the one time I did Dawnguard is recorded, and I opted to stay human, and I've cheated with console commands and given myself Sanguinus Vampirus or whatever, and but that was just to make like a top end character. I wanted to see what, but I don't think I've ever actually done a natural playthrough as a vampire.
I rolled a vampire for one of the round tables. That was quite a long time ago. I don't remember which round table it was, but I didn't enjoy it at all. I don't like playing as a vampire.
I found it.
Well, I think Dawnguard too. I mean, they nerfed that a little bit in the sense that like you don't have to have a mod for this, but now like you don't take sun damage when you're at stage 4, and I think people will make comments about look at a little pale, but the townsfolk don't sort of throw stones at you and try to kick you out of town.
Yeah.
So it's really like all the awesomeness of being a vampire and none of the drawbacks.
Well, you take stamina damage, right? You don't take health damage, but your stamina basically.
Oh, it doesn't regen as fast or something like that?
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as being a pariah, like I could be a vampire and walk into an inn at noon. I've not been set on fire as I was walking up to said inn, and you might get a comment from people. But although the coolest thing was that we talked about Morthal earlier, when I was a vampire, the God, what's her name? The woman behind the plot, the very buxom barmaid. Anyway, she actually stops and has this dialogue with you about like sort of like I know what you are and blah blah blah, and just be mindful around here because this is sort of our place, and I won't sell you out, but mind your step, that kind of stuff. I thought that was very cool, very cool.
I think there's a few dialogues like that, yeah.
So that was interesting, but never really, like I said, never really done an honest playthrough of a vampire, because the idea of like if I sat down and said, well, I want to be a vampire and I've got to like run Dawnguard to get there. Like that's a lot of playtime ahead of the thing that I want to do, Yeah. So I tend to just, again, as always, just get under the hood and cheat a little bit.
Tinker. You're on PC, level up.
I mean, I tend to it's more like just to help build, I mean, every once in a while you do an end game character, but mostly I like lay the foundation with cheating codes or whatever.
Yeah.
Like if I want a particular standing stone for my character, some games I'll walk to it, but a lot of the time I just COC and I start my character there, Yeah.
No, I do the same thing. Set my levels, and I don't take any perks. Just set levels. I want to be I'll set alchemy to 30 or whatever. That's fun.
Yeah. So Sherry asked about, and actually had somebody else ask about Dawnguard, which I forgot about. Dale was playing it, and I forgot how long the quests were, but he was saying he looked it up and he thought it was 100 hours of questing in there. Can that
be
Right?
Dawnguard?
Yeah,
I don't think 100 hours.
That seems
maybe
high.
20 or 30.
Yeah,
although if you side quested everything and you do all the missions afterwards that you can do to help build up Fort Dawnguard, I mean maybe, but not 100. That seems like a stretch to me.
100 seems like a lot, but man, it's a long time through that valley. That valley alone has to be 10 hours, right? By the time you go through.
Yeah, in the valley. Yeah.
Not to mention all the missions.
I mean, if you slow played it.
I can't imagine 100 though.
Once I haven't done the vampires all the way through.
Yeah.
As vampires. I just don't like the mechanics of the Vampire Lord. It's kind of like the werewolves. It just kind of throws you out of the game.
Yeah,
I agree. But what's his name? One of my current sort of favorite Major Slack. He does strictly vanilla. I've talked about him before, but there's strictly vanilla walkthroughs, all kinds of. And he's doing a Vampire Lord one right now, and it's fun to watch. I don't think I'd want to do it, but he's got a lot of science behind picking the perks and taking the perks quickly, and he really works hard at analyzing all the background mechanics of the game. So that's been fun to watch.
And I think the difference there too would be like if that was your character's like raison d'etre, right? Like you're not going to be a vampire but do the main quest in the Civil War and yada yada, but really like you join sort of Hakon or Harkon's tribe, and then You're kind of roaming. Like, what is it like to? It's sort of like in role playing games. The temptation for players was always that you're always the hero, right? So every once in a while, your dungeon master or like the group of players, they want to do like a bad dude playthrough, right? What's it like to be the villains? So I think there'd be something interesting in that case. And again, like I would prefer as an individual that there were penalties and stuff associated with that. Like, I don't like the fact that I don't take sun damage anymore, and I'd like the NPCs to be unwilling to serve me. So how do I get around all that stuff?
For that, you have to use
fun in a
mods,
number of ways.
Yeah. There's a lot of, I think Sacrosanct and Better Vampires, there's a patch for the two. I may be wrong, but there's all kinds of vampire add-ons you can do. Change the trees.
But yeah, I'm with Ray in general. Like, I played through as a human, and I think there might be some interest in going back and making the other choice, but I sort of feel satisfied, in terms of my Dawnguard experience. Like, and the idea at the back end is that you have access to Fort Dawnguard, which is sort of a pretty awesome home base. I mean, they give you a bed you can sleep in and all that kind of thing. And you can do all kinds of little bits and bobs to improve the place. So that, I think, the next time I play, I mean, I'll either try to resurrect my old character and pick up there, or try again, run through a bit differently, but then kind of make Dawnguard my home for the rest of my adventuring,
Yeah, that'd be cool. I've been so obsessed with alchemy lately that all my characters that I've just been sort of working on that constantly. Vanilla, Keiko, all kinds of other different things. I'm just completely obsessed with it.
Yeah, I've gone back to vanilla alchemy, to be honest. Not out of any real malice against Keiko per se, but I'll get into this later, I guess. But I had some pretty serious issues with my roundtable character, for whom we will have to pour one out.
Oh,
all those save files are beyond. I'm getting crashed to desktops. I had 2 versions, and again, I put no blame on anybody else, but I think I was just a little too free with adding and subtracting mods and trying stuff out and whatever.
It's the subtracting part that'll kill you, man.
Yeah.
Adding is, but subtracting, you're
so and of course, like, I was sort of leapfrogging with my save files. I always had a backup, but like, I would finish sort of a recording session or a gaming session, satisfied with everything, and I would save them both so that I could pick up where I left off. And if I had trouble, now I'm getting like just crash the desktops and stuff like that. It just it doesn't want to do it. It'll lock up. I mean, the most playtime I ever got out of it recently was about 3 minutes. So we have to pour one out for old Clea.
I'll bet you could probably resurrect her with some but you're using Nexus Mod Manager, right?
No, sir. I drank the mod organizer Kool-Aid after listening to you. You did convince me. So
yeah. The advantage of that, of course, you can duplicate your profiles and screw around with things without. But there are some save game cleaners out there. You might be able to resurrect if you download a couple of those and delete a bunch of the duplicated instances and things like that are hanging scripts.
Yeah, that smells like work, Victor. I gotta be honest.
No, it's not. Truly,
just to say that, like I really enjoyed sort of the roundtable experience. And I mean, again, we could talk as the show goes on about sort of how I've tried to sort of continue that in certain ways. But I mean, I look at all these characters as like disposable heroes, anyways, right?
Yeah,
like, they're like, I don't do Game of Thrones with my characters. I do like Die Hard, like 2.5 hours. I have an idea, I play it through to whatever end, and have some fun. So I was quite enjoying her. It was a lot of fun, and there was some interesting threads there. But it just, like, as all of us now, we don't have 24 hours in a day to game anymore or whatever. So I want to play the game. I don't want to. Like, well, I don't want to. I'm not one of these guys that wants to get under the hood for an hour. To me, that's not as much fun.
Well, that's the thing about mod organizer. Just don't delete the profile. Someday.
I haven't.
Sometime when you feel like screwing around with it, download PDT, save game script cleaner, and run your latest save through that. It's automated, so you don't really have to do much work with it.
Well, it sounds like a mod talk episode. You can guide me through the process.
Nah, you're a smart guy. You can figure it out.
No, I'm not. I just have a good speech skill, and I've convinced you otherwise.
Oh, okay, all right.
So, so sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna wait for you to go legendary in your speech, so you're back down to 15, and then No, I'll just it's there. You can try it out. Just
Well, it's good to know. It's good to know that option's out there. I figured just that was the end of the road, right? And I had, with my inexperienced hand, had done whatever to my game, and it's good to know that it's salvageable. That's good information.
Yeah, just don't delete mods mid playthrough. That's death.
Well, I sort of had a default like kitchen sink profile, right? That was just, here's all the stuff that I think is fun and interesting, and I would play that. And I got it to the point where it ran well. And then I started her, and I thought, well, I kind of don't need this. I don't need that. And that, you say, that was the death knell, I guess.
That's the killer, especially if they're scripted mods. SKSE plugins, textures, and meshes. That's fine. You can load those, get rid of them. Not going to have a whole lot of effect, but mods with lots of script running, if they're baked into the save, they'll never get rid of it.
So there we go there. But
so I'm so this isn't a roundtable episode. I am having a whole lot of fun with LC Build Your Noble House. Have you tried that, Ray?
No.
It's really good. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. It's you build sort of a small town, including a big castle.
Oh!
Yeah, you take it takes a lot of effort, huge amounts of resources, and it's very what's the word? You have to do it in the right sequence. It won't allow you to start the castle before you've built the clay mine kind of thing. And it doesn't really, the mod page doesn't give you any real instructions. It gives you some outlines. But
it's like Hearthfire in the sense that you are, to a certain extent, following a set number of steps.
Yeah, but Hearthfire is so regimented. This, I mean, and in a different way, it's regimented. This one, you really have to. So you need like 100, iron and 90 quarried stone and 50 iron fittings and hinges and all kinds of stuff just to make the guard barracks.
But you say that like it's a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing.
That to me sounds really fun.
No, I'm not saying it is a bad thing at all. But so he uses the Hearthfire framework, but he doesn't use the Hearthfire, all of the Hearthfire bits and bobs. So in other words, you can't use the local mills. You have to, firewood is your wood resource. So as it starts out, what he's done is he's given you he gives the player a couple of or three options of starting out the mod. You can gather all the resources yourself by just spending an hour chopping 100 pieces of firewood, or you can, in the area around Falkreath, he's dropped barrels in various dungeons and along the streets in Falkreath City and stuff that have building
materials,
resources and materials in them. So you can collect those, load them onto your horse, get back to the town is called Fellberg. So you get back to Fellberg and use those. But essentially you need to start step by step. So you start by getting a woodcutter, and the woodcutter will slowly, day by day, as you go off and do other quests, the woodcutter behind the scenes will load up your inventory with wood, and you come back and now you've got 200 pieces of wood, so you can build something. And then you build an iron mine, because you go around to every damn blacksmith in Skyrim and buy as much iron as you can possibly get and go pillage Ember Shard mine or wherever you can, get and you bring that back, and then you build an iron mine, and then slowly but surely your inventory will fill up with iron ore. Then you need a blacksmith, and as soon as you built the blacksmith, then you get a smelter, and you can smelt so it's step by step.
Can I pause you for a second and ask a question? Can you set the speed that these people are doing it at?
No.
No. Okay, so and that's real time.
It's right? Totally organic. It's real game time. Yeah,
real game time. So that's interesting.
But
you can always supplement that, right? Like if I just need 50 more wood, and this guy's chopping it, 3 every so whatever increment. You could always just join in and help, I guess.
Or you can console it in.
But no, I would want to do it legit. Of course,
I agree, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying not to cheat this one, and but you have to build early on. You have to build stockade and guard towers and hire guards, and once you've done that, then certain other things will appear in the build menu.
Where is this placed in the world map? Sorry, I keep interrupting, but I'm
no, that's
super
fine.
excited about this.
Do you know where it's in Falkreath Hold? To the west and slightly north of Falkreath. If you go up past,
so on the way towards Knife Point Ridge and all that kind of stuff, like
out in that,
and the tower
north of Knife Point Ridge. He's added a road, a paved road. So if you pass Mixwater Mill on the road, the next left is he's added a little extension of that road and made it paved, and you go all the way down there and around and come back up, and it's right above the little lake and grove where you find a dead alchemist and a couple of Spriggans. It's right.
Yes.
And just to the west of the cave where you find Valder and get his dagger. It's right in that little area right there.
How are the views?
No views. It's not that kind of place. It's all in the woods. It's Falkreath, so it's deep in the woods.
Now, is everybody going to end up with the same end product? Like, must I build the guard post and the thing? So everybody who plays through this, you're going to end up with an identical settlement, for lack of a better term.
I think so. There's certain things that you don't have to build, probably. Like, although I'm not sure yet. I haven't even gotten to building the castle yet, so I don't know. I now have a blacksmith and an iron mine, and I'm about to make a carpenter, but there's a trader and an alchemist store and everything else. So and you can't get the alchemist until you've done something else. I don't know what yet. Maybe it's the apiary. I don't know.
Okay.
Everything that you can do in Hearthfire is available, plus a lot more.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
it's quite stable.
It is available in SE too.
It is. Yeah, that's where I'm playing it. Ray, I have migrated almost completely to SE now.
What?
Yes, and Boris added a lot of stuff to the lighting engine, and a bunch of people have taken that and run with it. And there's some really nice reshades available. So I'm running Rudy ENB plus a reshade. I've been recording this gameplay. Yes, it's not my Hearthfire character. I've been unfaithful to my Hearthfire character, and been playing a new character. And I haven't uploaded any of it yet, but it looks pretty darn good, I have to say. Still isn't quite as nice looking. There's no parallax still, but it looks pretty darn good. The lighting engine is really nice now. It's much better than it was.
And sorry, what's the name of this mod again? We're talking about
you know what? I'm good. LC Noble House, but it's the same mod author. Let me look it up first. I should have.
It's LC _ Build Your Noble House.
Build Your Noble House, yeah.
At Skyrim, I think.
And the mod author is Lowcaster, and this person has done a bunch of other things that the Feudal Keep is also an LC Citadel, which is this person is on the same level, I think, as Ine Cheon in terms of writing well scripted mods. It's incredibly stable.
So of these, which gives me the biggest settlement, the most work, the most building?
Looks like the Citadel does. I haven't played that one yet, but the Citadel, you sort of become, I think you become like a Jarl of your own. Yeah.
Nice.
The Feudal Keep is another one. And
these are all available at all the usual places,
Yeah, most of this is available in both Legacy and Special Edition.
Okay, good.
Good mod author, really, really good mod author. Yeah.
Nice. Wow. Well, you've just orphaned my children for the next couple of months, sir. Thank you very much.
As far as I know, the whole thing, they're all Hearthfire capable. You might need to use the multiple adoptions mod to adopt kids. I don't know.
Yeah, it's listed in there, but he also mentions that you can have 6 kids. So
yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Well, that sounds fantastic. So
yeah,
I will stop interrupting and listen for the rest of your experience. So
no, I sort of built this character around. He's a refugee of Helgen, so I have Helgen Reborn, LC Build Your Noble House, and the new Bruma expansion, new-ish Bruma expansion. So he's a Nord. He's gonna do the Civil War. So he's doing Helgen Reborn and the Citadel. It's a fun character.
Well, I love the addition of like sort of NPC workers and stuff like that. That has a very much like a Civilization kind of feel, or any of these sort of RTS ones, and that sort of element. It seems like it's got a bit of the. We were talking about City Skylines and SimCity earlier with Michael. Just I love sort of town building, settlement type building games.
So
and I frequently enjoy playing like merchant style characters. I'm doing one now actually, as it happens. But like you eventually run out of a reason to have money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've built all the Hearthfire houses multiple times, so maybe not every iteration of. But
I forget, you're running both Legacy and SE, or just
no,
Legacy?
straight up Legacy.
I highly recommend that you if you want to do another merchant character, run a mod called Trade Routes.
Yeah, no, I've tried that.
Okay, all right.
I didn't find it overly exciting. I mean, it's just the idea that what I had hoped that mod would do, and this is not a shot at the mod author. It was well done. I didn't have a problem with it, but like, there are like a finite number of set trade routes in this game. So you just have to go around and figure out that like, I'm going to take X from here and take it to place Y, and that's it. Like, it isn't, and it would be hard to do this, but it's not really like a global market of supply and demand and yada yada. It's just a sense that like you're going to buy iron cheap in Dawnstar, and then you're going to take it somewhere where they don't have iron, like sensibly, and then sell it for a bunch of money. But once you figure out the 4 or 5 trade routes, I mean, you're running the same track over and over again to make money. That's boring to me. So again, not throwing stones. It's better than anything I would ever be able to make. But I didn't like that. With trade and barter was fun.
Yeah, I've always combined trade routes and trade and barter, and for Hannes, for my actual Hearthfire character, I've been running that plus Landlord. So those three together give you a chance.
Fun. Landlord is fun.
Yeah, give you a chance to really become a very wealthy person. That's also really the goal, right? I mean, that's if you want to be a capitalist in Skyrim, eventually, you are going to end up with a crap ton of money.
I like the investing in property that Landlord gives you. I think that's fascinating, and I mean, because that's really feudally, that's where all wealth came from, right? Is I own your land and you pay me rents, so there's good sense in that. And I like the idea of that combining with like one of these noble house or citadel type things, right? That you would own property in the surrounding lands, that kind of feeds your.
It would be nice if somebody came up with a way of actually really creating true serfdom, like in a truly feudal society. In a truly feudal society. But you'd have to have slavery as well, and that might be a little controversial.
No thanks.
Yeah. So.
Well, I guess unless you're an Argonian dock worker.
Yeah.
In a certain town.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. See, I love these episodes. Every time I come in here, you just you create a whole new game for me, Victor. Every time.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, and I'm trying to stay focused. I mean, fortunately, my Hearthfire character is still going strong, and actually, I think this might fit in with her. But we've talked a few times about doing the Daedric quests, and so there's still 2 that I've never done. And so I've never done the Periite, and I've never done Boetho. So I may still not, because I started this character specifically for this, but I don't typically do one-handed or destruction magic. And so I can see why, because it really sucks. It's so hard. But it's also gotten me to use followers. So
you normally solo play? You don't normally have a house Carl or that sort of thing?
No, I mean, most of the time, so like my roundtable character, total sneak and daggers. So I never take anybody with me. It's always just solo because it just makes sneaking so much easier.
Yeah.
Well, Gymnasta's great if you're a sneak, though. I gotta, vote her up for there.
Yeah, she has high sneak.
That's what she's built to do, right? Like,
yep.
Yeah.
She's a great Dark Brotherhood companion too. If you're gonna take one with you.
How stable is your game, Ray?
Very.
Okay, because I don't know if you know this, but the Quest mod that came out, was it last year, sometime late last year, Carved Brink, which got great reviews. It's really stable, really beautifully done mod. I think it's the same people that did Project AHO. That's based on Periite. So I think that's an extension of the Periite quest, if I'm not mistaken. I haven't played it, but from what I read, that Periite is the Daedric lord that's accentuated in Carved Brink. So it might be fun to do. If you've
I liked it. I liked the Periite quest. I've done it once.
Yeah.
For my Green Pact character, and I actually ended up developing like a fairly large amount of like sympathy for a lot of the people involved in that, actually, as I was going through. I was still killing them, of course, but it's a good dungeon crawl too, which I always like. Is awesome, and I mean the shield is just boss. Like, it's worth it. I mean, like,
it's one of the best Daedric artifacts.
You combine that with being a Breton, with being the Atronach stone, with the 3 perks from alteration, and I've literally just stood there and just like walked up to dragons while they're breathing on me. It's like I'm healing faster than it's incredible. It's incredibly, like, as a piece of a 3 or 4 item loadout for magic resistance. It's astounding. You know what I mean?
That was that shield was part of Gopher's main character's his first big playthrough. He used that shield and Dawnbreaker.
I can see why. Like,
well, the trick is with this character is that he is not using any of the Daedric artifacts.
Oh wow.
He is securing them so that they cannot, find their evil purpose.
And on the other hand, prevent them from crossing over and having influence the world. That's a really cool motivation.
So he has them all stored away in a secret compartment in his bedroom.
What about the, so to speak, good ones like Dawnbreaker? I mean, that's not a.
There are no good Daedra.
Well,
if they're good, they're Daedra.
Yeah, that's right. Although here's an interesting twist, though, Ray. Is your character in fact an unwitting pawn, gathering all of these artifacts into one place so that particularly evil Daedra can break through and be fully prepared to dominate all of Tamriel? Are you in fact doing the devil's work without knowing it?
No, absolutely not. Okay. He's got a well fortified house, so
well,
he's using what is he? Frostvale Estate.
Oh, nice.
Where is that located?
Sorry. So, just outside of Windhelm.
Was that like a house you can buy in Windhelm, or?
Yeah, well, just outside. It's across the river from Windhelm before you get to Mary whatever farm.
Okay, but I mean, is that what you get as sort of your reward for? All these Jarls will offer the option to buy property or something.
No, it's a mod.
Okay,
it's a mod house.
Well, there we go.
It's a nice one too. I think I've messed around.
Good spot. Good spot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I used it specifically because it had the storage for the Daedric artifacts.
So Michael mentioned that the Boethia armor kills your sneak. Is that because it just kills people around you? Is that the?
Yeah, it's got that aura on it.
Yeah. Okay.
So as you come up to them, they become hostile. Because you're hurting them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But now, could you combine that with invisibility and just sort of like sit there? have an aura of doom, like if you had really good sneak and invisibility, and then just
Well, but
I don't know if it would break it though.
Skyrim really kind of isn't, is it? I mean, how invisible are you really in Skyrim?
I don't know. I've never cast that spell a day in my life. I think I used
unless
it once.
unless your sneak is really, really high, combined with invisibility, right?
Yeah. So my Hearthfire character is, I think she's up to level 60 on legendary sneak.
Oh wow. Okay.
And she has the gloves from the ancient Dark Brotherhood assassin that will make her invisible. The only thing I'm not sure of is if you, she's not going to get Boethiah's armor, but if she did, I don't know if that would be enough to when they go hostile on you from that aura, if that would break the invisibility.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, because you've done damage, you've triggered the sort of the coding for making your visibility disappear.
To make invisibility disappear.
That's interesting. Still, it's got a very kind of Darth Vader type idea to it. You kind of walk into a room and there's a chill and people shrink a little bit. I like that idea.
Well, and I have had characters where I use Soul Cloak, and people get really, really irritated when you walk around with that on. If you have that activated and you pass by a casual NPC or a city guard or anything like that, they start throwing all kinds of bad words at you.
Does Boethiah's armor damage non-aggressive NPCs? Like if I was trying to shop in Boethiah's armor, would I be doing damage to Belethor or whoever?
Yeah. It's just like it's just there.
We were talking about vampires earlier. I kind of want to do a vampire with Boethiah's armor. I don't know. I just think that'd be an interesting combination. It just seems thematic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Actually,
to throw things completely in a different direction. So last weekend was Dragon Con.
Yes.
And I got to say, Skyrim was woefully underrepresented this year.
Really?
I don't even know that they did a photo shoot for them. All I saw the whole time was a handful of Whiterun guards, and they showed up at the Fallout photo shoot. So Fallout had a big turnout because you've got Fallout 76,
right?
That's still less than a year old, and so there was a lot of from Fallout 76. But the farther you get away from a game, the longer it gets in the tooth, the less and less cosplay there is for that.
So Skyrim is truly starting to finally fade, huh?
Yep.
What you're saying? That's too bad. Not in my life, but that's fine.
In the cosplay world.
Yep. That's cool. So even what about Elder Scrolls Online? So that too not well represented, or
I don't think I don't know that I would notice anything specifically from that because I've never seen the game.
Yeah.
But you said so there wasn't anything that really stood out as being Skyrim.
Right, nothing Elder Scrolls basically.
Yeah. I mean, it can be really hard to tell at Dragon Con because very rarely are the costumes specifically just one genre. It is mashed up beyond belief.
Yeah.
So there were people in fur armor, but I don't know if they were Skyrim fur armor or somebody else's.
Furries, yeah.
So
that's a different convention.
Yeah,
yeah. Although they do have representatives there because there were plenty of furries at the at Dragon Con.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, that's too bad.
How was your overall experience of Dragon Con?
It's exhausting.
But in an awesome way, I assume.
Oh yeah, yeah, I love it. But yeah, it's it's more exercise in 6 days than I get in the other 359 days of the year. So it's a lot of work to set it up, and um, then punctuated by long hours of just sitting and listening to people talk, and then tearing everything down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you work at these things too. Well, work. I mean, I don't know if they pay you, but you do audio and stuff for a number of people at these events, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's Friday and Saturday were both 10-hour days for me.
Wow.
I split with a 2-hour, dinner break, but I was typically leaving the con about 1 or 1:30. So, and
sounds great about 20 years ago, for me, like that's 25-year-old Steve do that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, much easier for the young people. So the ballroom that I work in is for the science track, the space track, the podcasting track, Brit track, and somebody else. And the science people are great. They do some really fun game shows. One of them is worst case scenario Jeopardy, where you play Jeopardy and the categories are, the universe is trying to kill me, biology that will take your life, and stuff like that. So basically, just everything that is apocalyptic is included in that, and it's always a fun game. And then the other one is they do movie clips of really bad movies, and and instead of taking the easy way out, which is saying everything that's wrong with the science in those movies, they have to justify the science in the movies, even though it's obviously completely bad. And so they have to come up with scientific reasons why these things are accurate.
See, I'd love to see a Star Trek version of that, like, defend the differential magnetometer to me or whatever. I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So they did do a fun one too, where it was Star Trek versus Star Wars.
Okay.
And so they had to really justify why the science in Star Wars was accurate, and why the science in Star Trek was. And so that was an interesting panel as well.
That's very cool. I like that. Sorry to hijack the Dragon Con conversation, because I'm really interested in it. I'd love to come down one of these days, but I've been trying to remember this, and I finally found it. Has anybody ever found the Predator's Grace boots in Skyrim?
No.
This is another one of these little. Well, it's another one of these little tidbits from one of Major Slack's videos. They are 100% silent boots. Andrew would love them. They are, if you know where Hag's End is, which is it's the highest point, the culmination of Deepwood Redoubt. But you have to go out there. There's a hag out there, but you don't go for her treasure chest. You slink your way around the side of the mountain, and there's another.
Yeah, there's a little veil. There's a little veil
yes.
with the river that runs through the middle of it. That is the waterfall right next to her. Where she's at, where you fight her at.
Yeah. So you found those boots then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I had never found them. That's very cool.
Yeah, there's a little chest up there. I think I went up there trying to get away from her one time, and because it's not easy to get to.
Yeah.
It's really tricky to negotiate that, the side of that mountain. But I was desperate to get away from her because she was just absolutely pummeling me. And it was one of my early on characters that I did it with.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go find them now because I've never done that. Yeah, you have to sort of Skyrim your way around the mountain there. Like just spam the jump key to get around. Anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. I saw that the other day. I thought, whoa, another thing I've never seen in Skyrim. This game never.
I feel like I'm never gonna finish this game. Like all these little tidbits. Right? I mean, come on, like Skyrim's the size of a postcard too. If you really think about it, it's a very small area. I mean, 20 minutes real time, you can walk from one side to the other with a character. But
pretty much,
wow, it's all these little tidbits. That's astounding. Like this is why we're Skyrim addicts, I suppose, because there's really for real. There's always something new, and even in the vanilla,
it's like shooting the salmon in the bay near Solitude, and getting roe out of them. I thought you could only get roe out of So, but that's patched out in the U-Sleep mod. So, if you use the unofficial Skyrim patch, then you can't shoot the salmon anymore.
I wasn't shooting them before, so there we go. I actually went back and I actually have done. I put a good chunk of time into sort of straight vanilla Skyrim. Well, let's not lie about that. I used the sort of the updated texture pack or whatever, like the official one, nothing the unofficial. And I did that for a little while, and then I couldn't believe that I was playing with this interface, so I put in Sky UI, but that was it. So it was just an improved interface and whatever the Bethesda's texture update. And I ran a character like that for a good stretch. It was very interesting to play the game vanilla again, because I probably haven't played vanilla Skyrim. Ooh, God, I almost want to say like ever. I think I did a few Steam Workshop mods within the first 40 hours playing the game, just to add stuff, and that was an interesting experience. Like I guess you guys have all been playing on the Switch.
That's what I've really loved about playing Skyrim on the Switch is completely vanilla enforced, and that was a lot of fun. And I was on the road a couple of weeks ago. I was on the road for a week, and so I took my Switch and played a lot of vanilla Skyrim. But then that character is now in the cloud because I sent my Switch to Kate. So as soon as I get my little Switch Mini back, I'll reconstitute him and start playing him again.
Yeah, it was an interesting experience though for a number of reasons. I mean, obviously, sort of, there's no hiccups, right? When you're playing the game, nothing's going to conflict with anything, so that itself was nice.
Well, there's still some bugs that crop up that are fixed in the with the unofficial patch. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, fair point. Yeah. But I mean, like, there's nothing that I've done that makes it worse, I guess is what I'm getting at. So that was interesting in its own right. And but on the flip side, it was very instructive in terms of like what I think my baseline for the game is. Like, there were a couple of things that I realized I just don't ever want to live without. Like, I mean, Sky UI was an example, right? Like, Bethesda, I love you. You've given me thousands of hours of joy, but I hate their fucking menu system so much. Like, just so much. It's such a ball ache to do anything. Pardon me making this E for excellent, but I feel quite profoundly about the improvements that Sky UI makes to the interface. I'll never play the game without it, ever.
Well,
as one example,
bearing in mind that you're right, playing vanilla Skyrim on a PC sucks because it's optimized for console. They optimized it for console from the beginning, so it's the interface is simplified for that very reason.
I didn't know that. I didn't know it was intended to be a console game and sort of the PC was the port. That's interesting.
Well, I don't know, intended to be, but it was optimized for console because they knew very well that their largest player base was going to be consoles, not PC. So
there you go.
At least I think they assumed that, and they were probably right. I mean, that's the first place I played it, on the 360.
But yeah, there were things though that were really interesting in that same vein too. Like, I guess, like, we won't go through our lists per se, but I guess that all of us as modders have, like, and I mean, I'm the baby modder on the team, of course, but we all sort of have like this baseline, right? But the consequence of that is like we have a series of opening moves, sort of like in a chess game, like you've got established opening moves in this game. Well, you have your foundational mod set that instructs you almost in how you're going to start the game or how you're going to do certain things. And it was interesting to sort of be without that. And some mods that I didn't think I would miss, for example, like it was really weird not to have to eat.
Yeah.
Like that was really strange to me. Like that was one that I threw in as a basket to go along with, like Hunterborn and Campfire and Frostfall when I was doing all the needs-based stuff. But I removed that when I record because I don't want to stop and fart around with that. But it was weird not to have to do that. Like that felt odd. It felt really, really odd as one that stands out oddly enough. But yeah, just the fact that I don't have to eat or drink anymore. Like I couldn't figure out why I couldn't make a water skin. It took me like 10 minutes. Well, you haven't loaded. I need, buddy. But because of course you just need one, right? Like, so that was interesting to me. And, but it was a very interesting experience. I quite enjoyed it. Like, so I can actually, of course, I can start Skyrim straight through Steam, right? And basically play it vanilla, or I can run through Mod Organizer and have a particular setup for a character. I think I'm going to dedicate a little bit of vanilla time on a regular basis now, I think, just to have that experience, and I felt it also, I guess the last thing I'll say about this is it got me to return to paying attention to the game itself, because so many of these mods, whether they add quests or just add stuff for you to do, that you sort of create your own quests, in the sense that like Hunterborn, okay, suddenly you're going to spend a lot of time hunting and skinning and working on those skills, and you're going to have to find a way to craft certain knives, and so on and so forth, right? Like, they give you lots of side quests in air quotes just to sort of to play the mod and to enjoy it. Whereas, it was really interesting to just sort of settle back in and like, okay, well, what do the NPCs really have to say for themselves? What do they need from me? The main quest, the Civil War, like whatever, because I find that I already hair off and don't bother with a lot of that in the first place. And then mods just enhances the ability to ignore a lot of the base game if you want to. So it was interesting to sort of just experience Skyrim, because I'd say like 75-80% of my time in Skyrim has been modded to one degree or another, and it was neat. Anyways, I just thought that was neat. And I built just for sake of the story, I built a dragon hunter focused character, and I just had a little laundry list of like stuff that I would need, because of course their breath weapons are magic, and then you're gonna need certain weapons and stuff. So I had a little laundry list of things to do that were all possible in the vanilla game, of course, and then just following the quest line. And yeah, it was a very interesting experience, very interesting. I quite like the game vanilla, minus the UI.
It's why it's still around. The base game is good. So yeah.
Well, but I'd always erred on the side of, well, it must be mods that extend the life of the game. But no. I mean, it's just as it is. It's still pretty tasty,
Yeah. Yeah. It's still a good game. Yep.
I mean, outside of the first 10 minutes that on each of the computers that I've loaded it on, that I have to play in order to get the files lined up. I mean, I've never played more than 10 or 15 minutes of vanilla Skyrim.
Wow. I think I've played probably 400 or 500 hours of it in vanilla. I know the first 3 or 3 plus. I don't know, Michael too, right? I mean, you've probably played a lot more than that in vanilla Skyrim. So
thousands, he says in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's load screens. You got to take off like 30% for load screens.
That's right.
You
Yeah,
get that shit on a 360. So.
It's actually only 4 hours of gameplay.
But I guess I sort of like I rushed to mod the game because I was so excited about like getting under the hood and tweaking it and personalizing it and all that sort of stuff. And
I used to joke years and years ago when I was assembling my own computers a lot back in the 90s and early 2000s that there were certain games that they didn't cost me $60, they cost me like $1,200 because I built a new computer to play them, and I justified that by giving the old computer to one of my kids, and that worked for a few years as they were growing up. But if I look back and sort of actually analyze the whole thing, I think Skyrim has probably cost me
the most money.
Absolutely the most money. That a big Mike has to wrap up, so we got to wrap up. But yeah, a big laptop, a big new computer, several iterations of the game on including my refrigerator and my Alexa and everything else. So
Dragon Age 3 cost me almost $500 because I needed a graphics card and a power supply to run it. And
yeah. All right. Well,
and
hey.
then I played 7 hours of it, and I got mad that my fan was too noisy or something.
Yeah, I'm not a big Dragon Age fan, but
it's my wife mostly is the Dragon Age player in the house.
Oh, cool. Yeah. My daughter is a huge fan too. So
well, Michael's kicking us all off the show, because he's got another podcast that he's got to record.
Sorry, Michael. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I hope to be able to be part of the recording.
Yeah, that's right.
On Chatterbox, yeah.
We need to start experimenting with Skype. I think I really do.
I agree. Yeah. Well, now that we don't need the Hangout thing for the live streaming, I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that Discord makes Fallout feed pretty simple.
Does it really?
But can you stream any kind of? You can't stream a video or anything from it, though, right?
Not video. We never do video on Fallout feed anyway. We do static screens.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So the only hiccup we had was that unless I have my mixer. So last week I was at Dragon Con, and so all I had was my laptop, and people could either hear just me or just everybody else.
Oh God.
So I
had it to just everybody else. No Michael. Yeah.
So I flipped it so that they could hear everybody else but me.
Well, you're so chatty on a regular basis.
But I'd sent my responses through the chat because it does make for a very lively and easy chat because they're hearing the show with no delay. Through the Discord audio channel, and so the chat is very responsive.
Interesting. Yeah.
Well,
maybe we'll give that a shot next time.
Yeah,
you can check it out tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern time on the Fallout feed.
When you record the Fallout feed, Ray?
That is
good to know.
Yeah. So can I be a tiny bit of a jerk and do a bit of a commercial before we go?
Go for it.
Of course.
Okay, so just a brief update. I've managed to re-upload everything from the Skyrim Book Club archive to my new feed host, which is Buzzsprout. So for those of you that have continued to find it, thank you very much. For those who haven't, it should be searchable on Google Play and iTunes and all that. I have just tipped over into my next month of time, so I've got I think 30 episodes that were recorded previously. They'll all go up in one bulk, and then this weekend I'm going to start recording new episodes. So we'll resume the usual kind of 5 a week that SBC has been over the years. It was just I was astounded by how many hours of recording it actually all turned out to be, because I think of them as 3 minutes here and 5 minutes there, but it was a few months of grinding that up, trying not to pay for too many overages. But anyways, it's all out there. I want to say thank you very much to all the people. Clearly people are listening from the emails Buzzsprout is sending me, so thank you all for your patience. Thank you for being loyal to the show, such as it is, and really, for real, swear to God, summer's over, we're back to a normal routine. All my content's back up there now, minus one upload that I'll probably do tonight or tomorrow, and then we should start routine episodes. So for all of you that stuck around, I appreciate it more than you know. For those of you that are just hearing this and are curious what Skyrim Book Club is, well, there's 800 books that will just explain it to you now. So yeah, thank you. Thanks for letting me have the mic there for a minute. But and again, thank you to everyone that continues to support what I'm doing out there. I do like it, and it's gratifying to see that my absence didn't, destroy my audience, so to speak. So
nice, cool.
And it's been great on this playthrough too, because this house has like 80 bookshelves. And so I've been collecting every single book that I come across, in every dungeon and house and everything else. And so, it's fun to be able to listen to the book that, I grabbed in the latest dungeon. So,
yeah, well, thank you. There's a mod for that now too, of course. But
yep.
But yeah, that's amazing. Awesome. Well, yeah, thank you all. Anyways, I say once again, thank you to everybody who kind of continues to, quietly support what I'm doing. So thank you very much.
I'm just going to one very quick little plug for not for me, but for Mr. B, who is back up in modding again, and so look for his mods, Mr. B 1969 on the Nexus. He has he's released 2 or 3 small little mods in the last couple of weeks, so check those out.
I got his updates before I started this playthrough.
Yep. So I'm glad to see him back up and running.
And Ray, what are you selling this week?
The Fallout feed, baby. The Fallout feed.
There you go. Yeah, tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's going to happen.
All right.
Well, always a pleasure, gentlemen. Thanks for letting me sit with you.
Sounds
always
good.
That
was fun. All right, everybody.
Good times.
Good night, all.
See ya.
Happy Skyrim.
Yep, happy
Good
Skyrim.
night.
And thanks to everybody to listening. If you get a chance, leave a review on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. That would be great. You can follow the show on Twitter, Skyrim Addict on Twitter, also ASAPodcasting on Instagram. The Fallout feed's been using that a lot, and going to try and use that a little bit more. And hopefully I'll have all of my technical issues that submarined me tonight all sorted out by the next show. So keep an ear out for that. We're going to be scheduling a time probably in the next week or so to get together and figure out the next set of quests for the Hearthfire Roundtable for our next house, which is Heljarkin Hall. Heljarkin? What's that called? Winstad? I don't know. We're doing Winstad now. The one right above Whiterun that's not part of Whiterun that you get in Dawnstar. We're doing that house. Doing that house next. Make sure you check out Dames Who Game. New episodes out. And the Fallout feed, obviously. And a new episode of the Chatterbox is out. We actually talked a lot about Galaxy's Edge. A little bit of Mindhunter. A little bit of a couple of the other new shows on Netflix. Dark Crystal. Things like that. So check that out. Chatterbox. If you go to asapodcasting.com, all the links are there. Thanks everybody for listening. See you later.